In Tron Legacy, they had to wear electronic outfits, and the AD, the first AD, when they were ready to do a shot and everybody was in their Tron gear, he would yell, "Light them up!" And when they did, half of them jumped and screamed because they were sweating so much inside those outfits, and they had electric circuitry going through them. So you can guess from there, if you know your chemistry, that didn't work too well.
You might know him from Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Babylon 5, and a little movie called Tron. Please put your hands together for Bruce Boxleitner. Hello, sir. Good, how are you? Very good. That's good for you? We shall sit.
Thank you. Standing ovation right now. Anyway, hello. Yes, sir.
Now it's up to you if you want to hold the mic, if you want to...
I'll hold it. Why not? I can project. I don't need a mic. But I will anyway.
We're recording this, so...
Then I can whisper.
Or the stage whisper.
Stage whisper.
So, my very first, very important question, how are you enjoying RetroCon?
I'm enjoying this a great deal. I couldn't be more retro, so I guess I'm in the right place. I did a con here, and I'm trying to figure out how many years ago it was. It was another... It wasn't called RetroCon.
It was the great...
Mira, Furlan,
Great Philly, yes.
Great Philly Comic-Con.
Yes.
That's it.
Which
wasn't in Philly.
I actually interviewed you at that con.
Yes.
And because I interviewed you, Mira was willing. She wasn't willing to do an interview until I mentioned you did one. So thank you for that.
I remember, well, Mira she was shy about those type of things. And I'm very proud to say I helped get her out of that by bringing her on, or being with her on stage and sort of coaxing it out of her. She actually kind of enjoyed it. She's one of the few people who laughed at anything I ever said. It was funny.
And how much did you have to pay her for that? I'm just curious.
No, I miss her very much.
Absolutely a great loss. But you have played so many different characters. I mean, I went through your IMDb and, it put me to sleep. No. It was just amazing.
It put me to sleep, but...
But I have to ask, of all the characters that you have played, who would you want to hang out with if they were a real person, and who would you want to avoid?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I wouldn't want to hang out with John Sheridan. He had too much responsibility. He was always under fire of some sort, and too much pressure on the guy. He never got to chill out. I don't know. Maybe way back. See, you covered, it's kind of funny, I never really think about it, but I started in the early 70s, and How the West was one, and Gunsmoke, and all those shows. Beretta, I was doing little bit parts playing long-haired thug kids, And then I gradually got to bigger roles. And then How the West was one was really my biggest first break. So I was in that Western mode for quite a while, and then that's the 70s. Then we go into the 80s, and it's bringing back alive. I would have liked to have hung out with Frank Buck. Now, that was a series I did. It was one season, even less than a season. We were trying to attempt an Indiana Jones type character because at that time, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the big fad at the time. And television then always wanted to copy things like that with their own versions of this. And so this guy was a real character, and he was an adventurous guy. He had quite a life. He loved animals. I love animals. So we would have hung out and, played with exotic tigers and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I don't know, it's, I got to live those characters. So maybe none of them. They were always having problems. I want a nice, chill life, and I never played somebody that had a nice, chill life. So,
absolutely not.
So it's Danger Man.
I do want to say that If you have questions, please raise your hand because we have Joe over here who will come over with the microphone. I could ask him questions all day. And one question is, well, there's a lot of cosplayers here at this con. You may notice some people dress a little bit differently than normal. On Tron, what was the costuming experience like?
Oh, boy. Well, some of you may have heard this story, but we wore the skimpiest of tights. We were all young men then. We had tight asses, okay? And back then, the heroes weren't all muscle-bound like they're supposed to be now, with 8-packs. We were supposed to be sleek, lithe, thin, athletic, you know, like a tennis player would be, or something like that, or a swimmer. And that was kind of the image they wanted for the character of Tron, not an Arnold Schwarzenegger, but somebody loose-limbed and energy, flowing energy, right? Even though he was a warrior. But they were these tights. And during the long hours, and it was in the summer, and we were shooting stage 16 on the Disney lot in Burbank. And the commissary was right down the way from us. And so we would basically strip off the top half, be put on a T-shirt or not. But we had the bottom half. And Jeff Bridges said that we were wearing a banana something or other. You get the drift. Anyway, a banana hammock. And so we'd go in at lunchtime. If we all broke for lunch, we'd go out and hang out in our doubles and everything, and we'd go walking into the commissary. Well, that lasted only so long because somebody got a note that came down to the set from the higher-ups in the office saying, well, Messrs. Bridges, Boxleitner, I could go on forever, on the other guys, please wear something over the bottom half of their bodies because the secretarial pool is having a fit. They didn't want to go back to work. They loved us coming in with these basically naked buns hanging out and everything else showing too. And I think that wardrobe was miserable. At least I didn't have to. In Tron Legacy, they had to wear electronic outfits. And the first AD, when they were ready to do a shot and everybody was in their Tron gear, he would yell, light them up. And when they did, half of them jumped and screamed because they were sweating so much inside those outfits and they had electric circuitry going through them. So you can guess from there, if you know your chemistry, that didn't work too well. I know Garrett Hedlund complained about it a lot. I kind of got a laugh out of it because I didn't have to do it. My stunt double, who stood this tall, by the way, who was playing Rinsler, the bad Tron, in that, he got sparked a lot, but I didn't mind. Anyway.
Shocking, very shocking.
It was shocking, I know.
Yes.
I do want to, I'm going to put in a shameless plug here. Please go see Tron Ares. I'm not in it, but please go. I'm out. Disney should pay me for this. They barely paid me anyway, but ever. I'm a little rough on Disney. I got to back off from that because they're actually good folks, and they had me do the inaugural Tron ride in Orlando, and they had a film crew. I think it's probably been 40 some years maybe since I've been on a roller coaster, let alone the state-of-the-art roller coasters. And anyway, I want you to support that movie because Tron seems to have an interesting relationship here. They like it, they don't like it. I don't know. I mean, right after Legacy, we were going to go again. We had everybody was cast for 2 movies. And there was already a script in the works to go, and we would have probably about 8 or 9 years ago had done the 3rd version. You've got Sam Flynn riding around on a bicycle with an Olivia Wilde, an ISO, on the back, and he's riding. She's never seen a sunrise. She's actually in the user world. I mean, it was going crazy. And Clue was coming, and Rinsler was falling, and he was starting to turn blue, his circuitry, and then suddenly he said, "I fight for the users," and my voice came out, and suddenly the people realized that Tron is coming back. So none of that got made. Well, what was going to happen with that? We shot that entirely in Vancouver, British Columbia. And then there was rumors it was going to be. I've done Tron Uprising, the animated series. You love that. But what happened with that? Suddenly it's on the Hannah Montana channel. No boys were watching it, and they geared it to young boys. It should have been both. But they put it on the Disney Channel. It was the wrong place for it. 13 episodes, we're just getting warmed up, and they pulled the plug on that. So I say they have a weird relationship with their franchise of Tron. It is an original franchise. And I'm hoping this new movie will continue it on. And the only way that's going to happen is if you, the audience, go to it. And go to movie theaters. Don't sit back and wait for it to be streaming. Go to the movie theaters. Box office is everything. The opening weekend is all important. When the numbers come in and they get it right away, if it doesn't look good, we're never going to see Tron again. I guarantee you. Because there's plenty of them out there that don't like it in the business. And they don't, And I wish Jared Leto tremendous luck. I think my buddy Jeff has got a small cameo in it. I hope he does. I don't know anything about it. I sort of divorced myself from it because I was asked constantly, "Are you in it? Are you in it? Are you in it?" I said, "No, they didn't ask." Simple as that. I don't know, and that's the way it is, and I wish them luck. I want it to succeed because the original Tron wants to keep being the original Tron and not be the forgotten original Tron. So I don't know if that answers any questions. There's some guys back here.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to put on those tights again.
No, I don't have to.
So there's a few, I believe the gentleman way there back in the red was the first one, and then, in the red shorts, you're covering your tights, which we appreciate.
Red shorts.
No, all the way back, all the way back by the camera.
Wear those tights. Whew.
Trust me, a lot of cosplayers feel your pain.
Yeah.
Orange?
So, right there.
I didn't even know there was a microphone coming. Okay. So, considering your close relationship with J. Michael Straczynski, was there ever any crossover, not like with any properties, but talk of like, I know who would write, is a great writer, who could make a real Tron masterpiece?
What do you mean? JMS doing Tron?
Yeah, because I'm obviously he includes you.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he would.
No?
He creates his own. He wouldn't dare do somebody else's.
I could see that.
I mean, even though is he still doing comics? I'm not sure. I know he did Superman for a long time.
He's
that
written
type
some
of
good
thing,
novels
yes.
too. So.
Yeah, but that type of thing, I think he had a particular love for the comic genre, comics, Marvel and all those, and DC. That's my favorite. DC.
Mine too.
Marvel can go take a jump. Anyway,
Superman rules.
I'm
Disney,
a Superman and a Batman guy.
Disney owns Marvel, and I thought you were trying to support Disney. Dude, I'm trying to get you out of trouble.
Well, I was a Disney guy, and they would have never hired me. But Tron could have whooped any one of their boys' asses anytime. Just give me a good frisbee, okay? Anyway.
Okay,
Yes.
so you choose. There are so many hands up, so I have to do less work. This is great.
Hi, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
My name is Benson. My question is, I actually have two questions. One question is, for the Tron Uprising series, I watched all the episodes and I really enjoyed that series. What was your experience doing that, as actually doing a voiceover for a character that you already did in the movies? And my second question would be, for the third movie that you were saying that they were possibly going to do for Tron, were they going to do were you actually going to be, I guess, how they were doing with the special effects, so they were going to de-age you, and you actually see Tron's face and you would interact with the rest of the characters in the movie?
Well, I did have to answer that real quickly. I was in there as younger Tron when there was a sequence that Flynn is talking about, where we get in this fight, and with some of the stormtroopers there, whatever they were, Sark's people, or Clue's people, I don't know. But we didn't, you notice we didn't have a helmet on in that. And they did it pretty close. I think I think they've gotten better. You got to remember how long ago that movie was out. I'm anxious to see Ares because I want to see how far we've come along standing on the shoulders of that movie. Because look at the first one, which I think is unique because nothing yet in any other sci-fi film looks quite like the design of Sid Mead and company, and certainly our director. You know, it was his concept. But I think where was I? You asked me about
the first question again.
What's the first question again? I took the last one first. Yeah, Tron Uprising I was very excited by it. And, you know, I was a fan of Elijah Wood. I've seen that guy. I mean, he was probably one of the best child actors you ever saw in cinema. And here he was, this young guy, and he was very enthusiastic about it. And we had all the chiefs of, we did our first, we had never met before. And we were sitting in a booth waiting to go with the script, and all the chiefs come in, sit down to listen to us. And I didn't know that was either going to make it or break it. That wasn't a done deal. And so we did a great job, I think, our first scenes together. And it went on from there. But then again, suddenly, no word. It just ended. And I think it was a reason they didn't really have a proper place for it yet. I thought the animation and the style of it was so unique. That's what, you know, Tron has always been about, a certain stylization that is just so unique. And that was certainly, I thought we'd seen everything, and yet the way they drew the animation in that was amazing. But I just, I'll go back again and say that, you know, that's a franchise that I think has always been underserved. I think you fans think that too. Why have we had to wait so many years? They had it all there. We were all there. I think in the sequel to Legacy, Alan Bradley was going to rise to the top of NCOM, and Sam Flynn leads that revolution. At the very end, he says, "We're going to take back the company." And I said, "What about the board?" And he said, "You just leave them up to me," and blah, blah, blah. And then he gets off on his motorcycle, and he and Cora go take a ride. And it kind of started the next movie. This is just all my opinion. There may be a couple of Disney executive spies in here, and I'm entitled to my opinion. But that was the beginning of the next movie. He says, "We're going to take the company back." There it is, the next storyline. That's how we're going to do it. How are you going to do that? Clue and his minions are coming into the user world, the real world, and how is that going to happen? That's, I think, what we set up. And I know Joe Kosinski was signed to do it, the guy that directed Legacy, but he met another gentleman who was a very big fan of the Tron franchise, a guy named Cruz. You may have heard of him. Rather short leading man. He likes to do a lot of his own stunts. And he's probably the greatest movie star of our time right now. I mean, everyone knows who Tom Cruise is. And he gives us nothing but entertainment.
I don't know.
He snuck into the opening of, apparently, but then he signed up with Joe Kosinski to do a thing called, what was it, Oblivion, right? And then, obviously, he brought the people back to the movie theaters with Maverick. So, during COVID.
I don't know. It's impossible for me to visualize Tom Cruise. It's definitely impossible.
You know, he crept into
The jokes get worse, folks.
our premiere was on Hollywood Boulevard, classic, right? And instead of a red carpet, we were in a Tron blue carpet we walked up. But apparently he snuck in with just like a t-shirt and bomber jacket and jeans, and nobody noticed him. And he went to see it. She said up front here, because he was too short. I didn't say that.
Tom, if you're watching.
I love you, Tom. Mission Impossible what?
Hi, I had a question in my head. Do you think after Uprising, do you think it would have led into this, say in Legacy when he's falling down at the end, his blue lights come back on. Yeah. Do you think that's the version of Tron that we saw at the end, during Uprising? Do you think that would have, if Disney didn't pull the plug so early, do you think it would have led into season 2?
I don't think they would have been related at all. I think these were different, but I'm not negating what you're saying. I'm just saying these were different visions of that world.
Yeah.
And certainly. And I think they were standalone. I thought the Tron, what was that great movie with Anthony Banderas and Anthony Hopkins about Zorro passing on to young Zorro? It was kind of feeling like that. But I think they stood alone and well, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it got...
Well, whatever that was, I mean, the economy, things changed at Disney. There was a change of the top. And always with the new guy or gal comes in and they have a vision for, they decided to go with the, instead of starting that one up, sequel to Legacy, they went to Maleficent had done so well that they decided, let's go to the sure thing. And that was doing, live action of their animated classics. Yep. And that has lasted for some time now. But then they bought Star Wars. Then they bought Marvel. What's theirs anymore? I don't know. Anyway, I'm being critical because they don't hire me anymore anyway, so why do I care? I'm a Warner Brothers guy. Anyway, yes, sir.
Hi there. My name's Julia. I am a big Babylon 5 fan.
Yay.
I wanted to ask you two questions. They both kind of have to do with each other. The first one is, how did I remember hearing about the reboot that was supposed to happen on the CW. I don't know if you were supposed to be a part of that or not, but after that kind of fell by the wayside because of CW issues and COVID and a lot of other things, then we got the absolutely wonderful animated movie.
Thank you.
How was it doing the animated part with the old cast that was still around, at least? Is there any chance that that could possibly continue?
Well, to answer that specifically right there, I've never heard different. I think they wanted to do at least one or two a year. I think it did well enough for them. I enjoyed doing that because I went back to, his father again and Sheridan's father, and it was all Sheridan. I did it in 2 days. I did the whole thing in one. And then we came back, they went, well, we had 4 days scheduled to do all this. I said, it's 2 wasted days. Let's just do it now. And I did it in about 6 hours and did the whole movie, all my part. And then we came back and we did a little fine tuning on certain things that they wanted to change. Once they heard it, then they go, maybe we had, they want to change this and that. And so I came in and did those changes. But I think that's that. I think, yes, there was all that during the early COVID stage there with the CW. And I think the plans were, and I think I'm okay to say it, JMS stayed in touch with all of us. He let everything that was discussed, he would share with us, just to keep us in the loop of what he wanted. He also said, and I'm not going to get in trouble for this, he also said, if we wanted to be in this reboot, he would make that work. Not necessarily as the characters we played, okay?
Okay.
Obviously, I had a little limited, I went off to over the edge there, over the rim. So how do we work him in? But he wanted to, he was going to be if JMS was doing the reimagining, it was good. I guarantee you. If somebody else says, I hate this word, the reimagining. Well, we're reimagining The Wizard of Oz. No, it sucked. No, I'm sorry, but you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Somebody else's reimagining isn't the original person, the creative person that did it, and only JMS could do that. So he was a brilliant writer, and I think you all agree with that. And he was very enthusiastic. I just think what you said, that something went wrong, things changed hands, and the CW was no more. And the guy that was really championing this reboot was the head of CW. And then it got shot out from under him.
Yep.
So I don't know what the status, if there is any more, if there's any interest. And folks, you got to also come to grips with the fact, too, that even with the Tron franchise, we don't know. I hate to say this, it could be tired. Times have changed. Legacy was over how many years back? 15 years ago. In pop culture, that's a heck of a long time. That's 115 years. So who knows? But if they'd have us back, we would love to come back. And I think I wanted to add one more thing. The actors that tried to recreate the Andreas Kousoulises and the Mira Furlans, and I thought they did a very wonderful job in the animated film. And if you saw the afterward thing of the making of it, all of them acknowledged that you're stepping into, it's hard to do, step into somebody's shoes like that. But I thought they made a really noble, brilliant attempt, Okay.
How are you, sir?
Yes, sir.
My name is Derek B. I'm from the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. Amazing body of work that you've had all these years. I actually remember going to the movies to see the original Tron. Yeah, telling my age too. But wanted to get back to Tron Legacy because there was a plethora of stars on that show as well.
Yeah.
I know they don't do, actually I wanted to actually know because they've gotten away with doing having voice actors all in one studio to do all the voice acting. I was actually wondering, because you had Reginald Vell Johnson on there, you had Elijah Wood, you had Lance Henriksen on there, and amazing cast of characters on that show. And the late Paul Rubin on that show as well. Was wondering if you got to actually be in the studio with some of the characters, because it seemed like you all were actually there with each other doing the show. I mean, and also I was, as well as everyone else, we were very upset that show got cut short because it has so much potential for that show.
I told you about being in the same booth with Elijah Wood. That's the last time I saw him. After that, we did all of our work separately. That's how it's generally done. You're brought in, you do all your stuff for that episode. And I think once I just heard him and the few scenes we did together for the executives, which was our audition piece for that whole project, I think I've always heard him in my mind, And we would come in and just do our lines. We had nobody reading opposite us. So I had to remember Elijah's, because most of my scenes were all Tron and what was his name, the character Elijah Wood played? Beck, yes, sorry. And I wish you could. I wish everybody. And then we got together for a big photo shoot and met each other for the first time. We had done the project when they did a little opening party thing for it. And I thought it had great legs and potential. And like you said, and well, that's television. What can you do? So, anybody else?
I was wondering what it was like for you as a young actor just starting out to work with James Arness.
Yeah. That's, well, he gave me my first big break for ABC. That was in the time, How the West Was Won was in the time of the miniseries. We had followed the biggest one of them all, the one that started the genre, took the world. It was a bestseller by Alex Haley, and it was called Roots. And remember, this television back in the day when it was 3 networks and your local news station and weather. And so during the commercial breaks during the Roots, big all-star cast, LeVar Burton as Kunta Kinte and all so on, and they would have, commercials for what's coming next after Roots is over, and it was Arness, who had been on television in American public and in the world's public for 20 years on Gunsmoke. He had held the record for the longest time. And anyway, when our pilot, and my story of joining that is a very long one. I had to go up against several guys, and I had to screen test against them, and that was awesome. But he saw something in me. He was being the star of this big epic for MGM. He saw something in my screen test. And they didn't want me. ABC didn't want me. They were very complimentary, but they didn't want me. They wanted some other guy, a guy that was a soap opera star that they wanted to bring into primetime television. And they thought this was the perfect vehicle for it. Now, you don't have to believe me. You can go to History of Television Archives, look up James Arness talking about Gunsmoke and How the West Was Won. He did it a few years before he passed. And he talked about casting me, and I have to thank him so much. He changed my life because he's I forget who the head of ABC was, but he's standing in back of him going, Jim, we kind of like this #1 kid, this kid here. There was like 4 or 5 screen tests you had to watch. And I was like number 3. And we kind of think he's got potential to be really big on prime time. He's right now he's in blah, 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 blah. And Jim said, yeah, no. And being the star, he had casting approval. And he got to me and he says, I like this number 3 kid. And he said, well, he's very good. Yes, oh yeah, he's very good. He's got a lot of potential. But we really think, Jim, that this #1 guy is the guy that you need to have. And he said, no, I like this number 3. Are you sure? Yeah. And no, I like him. This kid's got it. And he said all he heard was the door slam. He got his way, and I got cast in the pilot. And I'll be forever grateful to him. It gave me a career,
Awesome.
Hi. Few things. One, when I was dating my now husband, I always called him when Babylon 5 was on because I knew he'd be home.
You knew where he was, huh? Yeah.
But now that you mentioned that you were in Westerns, I can hear, I'm thinking about Sheridan's cadence and attitude and bravado. Did you borrow from that Western, his background with him at all?
Well, if you know, he was written as born and raised in the Midwest, in the Heartland country, and there's Ronnie Howard's father, Rance Howard, playing my dad, and he kind of had that sort of middle country way about him, and he always played not urban people. He didn't ever play anybody like that. He was always some country.
No, I remember well the scene where he was actually standing in for Kosh.
Yeah.
And how beautifully that scene played out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, I don't know. Tell you the truth, I don't know that J. Michael Straczynski knew much about me. I had done Scarecrow and Mrs. King for Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers weighed in on that. So when,
that's where I
when
first knew you.
Michael left the show, after that whole controversy, I worked with the other producer. Oh my God, what's his name? My memory's gone nowadays. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, I did a Western with Sam Elliott with him back in 1979 called Wild Times. And he said, no, I want a cowboy to command the Babylon 5. He didn't want this, no, I want a good guy, but he's got to turn from a roughneck into an ambassador, a president, you know, that type of thing.
Is this me?
And I'm sure a few people, I think Dirk told me last night, but then he had a lot of scotch last night. I think he told me he was auditioning for that. I don't know. I got offered it, but I think there were a lot of fingerprints all over those scripts I got sent from other guys.
Just an interesting, because I know that a lot about the cast members of B5 and they're like with what happened with Claudia Christian and her issues, but is it true that that the actress who played Talia was married to Jerry, and that marriage went south, and that's why Talia left? Because I really was hoping that the relationship between Susan and Talia would develop.
Yeah. Well, yes, we were very ahead of our time, weren't we? Now, I'll tell you what. No, it's not the reason she left. They were still having to work with each other. That was, let's call it, there's a word, tempestuous. Oh yeah. That was it. We said, oh, this is not going to last. This is going to blow right up. It did. Anyway, two fiery characters like that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, no, they're great. You know, I miss Jerry every day. I miss all of them. Yes, sir.
I hear there's a story about you getting stuck in a star fury during an earthquake.
Yes. Yes, there was. We had those various aftershocks. I don't know, was this after Northridge? And you know, we were in a hot tub. We filmed in an old hot tub factory out near North Hollywood. It's called Aquatech. They never took the sign down. Babylon 5 TV series shooting away in there, and we're in an industrial cul-de-sac with all these other factories and things and warehouses, and it still said Aquatech on there. That's why fans tried to find the place. They couldn't find it because they never knew. They thought it was Babylonian Productions or something like that. But yeah, I did. I was in the Star Fury. I had a 5-point harness on me. It was all authentic looking. I had a space helmet with a little fan going on in there so my breath wouldn't fog up the shield, you know, the face mask. And we got a little tremor here. I cannot say in front of all of you the words that came out of my mouth in sort of a high-pitched scream. No, it was a little disconcerting. It was. It didn't last long, but it was enough to say, get the fuck out of here. Okay? I mean, it was enough. I mean, that was terrible. Anybody else?
That was an
I know
amazing,
we're running through time here.
That was an amazing censoring of yourself with that. Yeah, exactly. I just very quickly wanted to mention, you talked about being president at the end of Babylon 5, but you were also the president in Supergirl. What was that like?
I've been a president a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Supergirl, I was a bad man. But I was working, you know, in the end, they never told me that I was under the influence of Lex Luthor the whole time. So I'm just thinking, this guy is fun. I'm a good bad guy and bad good guy, whatever. And yeah, I was working for Lex Luthor. And I was commuting to Canada every other week. I'm glad that ended. It gets old, I'll tell you. Yes, sir. Well, how about way in the back? You've been very patient. That fella. Yes.
Thank you. What was your experience like working with Christian Slater on Cuffs?
I got to work with him when he was kind of new yet, and he kind of had this young Jack Nicholson cockiness to him. We had a lot of fun. We shot all nights and some very shady parts of downtown Los Angeles, when especially at 4 a.m. And I enjoyed it very much. I thought he was a wonderful actor, still is. But at that point, he just was coming on the scene. He had True Romance, and I think that either that was coming or it was soon to happen, or had happened. And he's a great actor, had a great presence. He had that witty, kind of just off-the-cuff stuff that Jerry Doyle was so good at. In other words, he was a great wise ass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there you go. I dropped another bad word, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm just getting demonetized. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Boxleitner. I'm a huge Tron fan, and I just echo everyone else's sentiments about really wishing Tron 3 and Uprising continued. I know kind of in the past you've kind of said that, like you said, you've kind of divorced yourself from it. But if Ares takes off and there are more movies and more shows, would you be opening to return, whether in person or for a voice acting role?
Oh, certainly, certainly. It wasn't that. It was just that I was constant. I have no idea with social media and everything. I was constantly being peppered with questions about this. I don't mind answering them now because I've had enough time away from it all. I had one time I got quoted as saying, I'm done with Tron. Well, somebody put that out there. Bruce Boxleitner says he's done with Tron. Hollywood said, so what? They didn't care because they were done with Tron too. I'm telling you, there's a love-hate relationship with it. Legacy made only $444 million. You got to remember, $250 million was just for publicity alone. Now you have to make double that to even garner a sequel. You have to make more than that. That was worldwide. We were just shy of 500 million. Okay, so to me that's not chump change. Okay, that's big money. But in that world, it just didn't quite hit the mark. Need more Tron fans. So that's why I implore you to go out there and support that movie and get it done in the first 2 weeks, okay, so that they're seeing numbers and enthusiasm for it. Then it'll garner more, you know. And I hope Jared Leto does it. You know, he's a very good actor, and I hope he can carry it over because it's the star. If you're the star, you're opening the picture. That's why I went on about Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise can open a picture. People go to see his movie, not necessarily what it's about. That's what a movie star is, not a TV star, movie star. So, it's my opinion.
Hi again.
Yes.
With the Tron Legacy, I think one thing they should have done maybe is have Tron before it, like try to combine the two so people knew what they were getting before. That's one thing. But one thing I like about Tron, and you were mentioning about the graphics and all like that, over the years you can see where it all started and where we're at now. And everybody talks about Jurassic Park, how it really franchised everything, but it was actually Tron that it was the original computer movie. Yeah. And then you had Jurassic Park, and then you had Legacy, and now you have Ares. So it can just only get better with the AI they got going now.
Exactly that.
The one thing I wanted to mention to you, you were mentioning Frisbees. When I was little and we watched Tron in the theaters. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, my backyard turned into the grid. We were launching Frisbees at each other, busted eyes.
That is so good to hear.
Oh, it was great, and I want to appreciate you for that.
You know, I had to train, and I had horses, so I had a corral out front. And a guy named Sam Schott put me through the works. I didn't know they had these guys. He was a professional competition frisbee thrower. He was, I didn't know you competed. But that guy could throw that thing in every which way. It was amazing. And in a lot of that picture, when you see me battling oncoming discs, if they weren't going zigzag around me and things like that, that was CGI, or CG, it's a primitive version. The rest of them was Sam from high up or across the room on a step ladder, just throwing it 100 miles an hour at me. So some of those where I blocked it, those were authentic. I got down and blocked one coming right at me, but I also fixed him real good. No, actually, it was Steven Lisberger, the director. I had a couple times I had to go in like a bad boy during lunch break. I didn't get to go out on the playground with everybody else. I had to go in and train with Sam and Steven. And Steven would go, I wasn't good enough. You're not good enough. You got to be the blah, blah, blah. He was on me constantly. I know what his psychology was because it got me so pissed off at him. I would have parted his head like I did Sark with that thing. Ooh. Point blank, I would have thrown that through his forehead. I learned to turn that thing and do it, throw it like this, and I got it to actually go whack like that, like just Odd Job, cut his head right off. Anyway, Odd Job was from the James Bond movie, okay? Yeah. James Bond, remember him? Anyway, but also I wanted to say that I did it in a horse corral, which was all loose dirt. You know how training on a beach, jogging on a beach is much better for you. It's harder on you. So Sam put me through that. I dropped so much weight because they wanted to really get me down and get in that tiny little outfit with my banana hammock. Actually, what did James? It was Jeff that called it our man thong. Anyway, but I trained in a horse corral with that running. He'd have me running. He'd throw at me, jump, do a somersault. And that's the way I separated my shoulder in the shot where I come down the thing. Yori comes down first, and the recognizer's flying around us, and he's putting the spotlight on us. And I climb through this window, and I slide down. You see me go like that. I hit the floor, and Steven wanted, we're on a cement floor. And I come down off that thing, and it damn near burned my crotch in two because of the friction coming down. And then I hit, and he wanted me to hit and do a shoulder roll and come up. And I was wearing, Tron's shoulder pads were motocross things, okay, that they wear motocross at that time. Light armor, hard plastic. And I came down on my right shoulder, and I separated it right there. But the irony is I'm supposed to get up, grab Yori, and go, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Are you all right?" God. Veins were sticking out because I was in absolute pain. I had months of acupuncture and everything to put me back together again. But you just do things like that, so. Anyway, I bored you to death with that one.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, yeah. Yes, sir. Way back.
Hi.
Oh, no.
I'm Laura. Welcome to RetroCon.
Hi.
Got two questions for you. What do you think of the idea that Tron fans can create their own custom action figure at Disney? And have you read J. Michael Straczynski's autobiography, Becoming Superman?
I have not. I know a different man. I was afraid to read it. I don't know. I forgot he did have that out, didn't he? I shall.
Definitely recommend it.
Oh, yeah. You know what I was worried about? You want to know how vain I am? What if he says something lousy about me?
He doesn't. I don't recall him saying anything
wrecked that
about
animated movie.
That way.
No, he was wonderful. I will. Thank you for bringing it up. I'd forgotten that book was out a long time ago.
Yeah, I said highly recommended. And as far as the first question goes, what do you think of that?
What was that again? Doing Tron action figures?
Yeah, Tron fans can create their own customized action figures at Disney World.
At Disney World? Are they doing that? No.
Yeah, it's a gift shop where the ride is.
Oh, that store, the merch store there. Oh my God, that's pretty good too. I only got to pop in there real quick. Did I finish that story about being on that? I think it's a great idea, your idea. I'm glad they're doing it. I can't imagine what some of them must look like, but...
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Riding that ride, by the way, like I said, probably since my boys were very young, I took my two oldest sons with me. They're both in, one's in his late 30s, one's in his 40s. And we went up. Thank you, I'm talking here.
Yet or not.
Okay, what's happening?
Oh, no. No.
Anyway, we went on that thing, and I had already told the publicity department that I was not going to ride the ride. I don't do those things very well. when I saw that thing. And so all the while, they were prepared about that. That's why they invited my sons to come along. They were going to do a thing on the Sons of Tron riding the bike, the light cycle ride. And as we're walking there, my son Lee says, Dad, and there's all 100 people, there's all these bloody paparazzi people and people with microphones like this waiting to say something or do something. Cindy Morgan's waiting right up there. And we come walking from wherever we had just gotten there in the car. And he goes, Dad, look at that. And they had that beautiful sculpting out in front of the ride, Tron light cycle experience. He said, Dad, you have to ride that. You're Tron. Look at all these people. And I remember I hadn't eaten in a while. And I went, I think you're right. I'm going to have to do this. So I walked up to them, and then they come to get us. They walked up to us, and I said, listen, I've changed my mind, I think. They went, oh, thank God you did. I said, I'll ride it. Let's only do one take on this, okay? And because I was very unsure of myself there. I don't know, I'm not a young guy anymore. I don't think my balance, when I was younger doing Tron, I had balance, I had equilibrium, I could handle it, you know? That thing whips you around like you can't believe. And so I'm going, here's my 73-year-old self. I'm 75 now, so that was what, 2 years ago now? Maybe? And yeah, and I walked up there, and then they make this big hullabaloo about that. And I'm going, when was the last time we ate? About 6 hours ago, Dad. I said, I gotta do something to eat. Like something, my blood sugar was failing. So we're walking up to, we go through it, and they've got the camera crew following me. You know, this is all showbiz. I'm acting away. And we walk in, that marvelous music, like it was, you know, what's their names who did that for Legacy? Like Daft Punk type music. And then those bikes come, and there's what, 2 across, 6 bikes. And for the people that didn't want to ride the bike, there was looked like an old snow shovel or something there sitting there. A cart for them to be put in. And I kept looking and going at the bike, and I looked at the cart going, well, I did say I'd ride. Maybe that they didn't say on the bike. But so anyway, we got on that thing, and everybody's standing there, anticipation, and then the music starts building, and then you move forward. You move forward, and then you stop. And the music starts building and building, and the noise starts building and building, and suddenly, fight! You're going so bloody fast, it's the best facelift anyone could ever want. I looked like I was 12 again, screaming for my mother. And it was, and all the while, they've got a bloody camera right there in front of my son Sam and I yelled the F-bomb all the way through the first dive, hanging on for dear life because, by the way, you're not sitting in anything, you're on it, and nobody strapped you on it. My grip on those handlebars was indented into my hand for like a week. And we're going through that thing, and it's weaving. I'm not going with it. It goes this way. I am leaning this way. Whoa, you know, and screaming the whole time. It was wonderful. Then we come back into the station real quick. We come back into the station. There's a camera crew, and they're all waiting, and they're wanting to know, how was it? How was it? It was, and I go, it was intense. I'm lucky I didn't throw up all over the woman. I mean, it was like, I'd be the first to admit, it's a fast ride. Oh yeah, it's very quick. You're on it, you're off it. And I'm never getting on it again. I've ridden horses, I've been bucked off horses. I've had horses run away with me. Take the bit in their mouth and go. You try to turn a horse going out at 35, 40 miles an hour. I'd rather do that. I'd rather get bucked off than be on that bloody thing again. Because I kept envisioning myself falling off the thing into whatever that was down below, being, you know, chopped up into dog food or something. I don't know, you know. But I highly recommend it if you ever get to Orlando. please do that. And remember what I told you. Okay?
Well, on that note, we are actually out of time.
I will never get a job at Disney again. I can see that. Oh, boy. I'm dead. Oh, boy. That's okay.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce, for spending this time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And everyone visit him at his stable. Again, big round of applause, Bruce Boxleitner.
Hi, this is Amanda Tapping. Thanks for watching. And it doesn't matter if your reproductive organs are on the inside or the outside, you can still enjoy Fandom Spotlight. Have fun and follow your fandom.